Hey folks, I'm back. Let's continue on with our CICD stuff here. So I'm going to go back over to CFN here and go to CICD. And I remember we were just kind of walking through this. I know for you, you're just continuing on, but sometimes I walk away from my computer and we gotta get spun up here again. So I do know that I have that Fargate repo. I believe I have that one on teacher seat. So I'm gonna make my way over there. And we'll type in Fargate, CICD. Okay. And what I'll do here, I'm going to go over here and we're going to go to CFN pipeline because we don't have all the steps there. I can tell right away that's where we last left off. So coming back over here, and it'd be nice if the highlighting's in. Can we have highlighting now? Any day now, give me YAML highlighting. Well, it's not showing up right now, but we have our source. It says application source run order. We put version 2 there. We don't know if that's going to work or not. Code zip as the output artifact format. Yeah, that's what it would do. So remember that we had two ways of passing the stuff along, either in a zip or in another format. So the idea here is that we'll just do zip. So that's how you set it between the two, eh? Just a second. Anyway, so what we can do here is go back over here, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the next part, which is the build. And then we'll just quickly walk through this and make sure it looks okay. And again, for you, you'll just have to go to my repo and copy paste this code because, at this point, you should know how to walk through that CloudFormation documentation. But if there's something else that you can reveal, that you should go to the documentation and take a look here. But we have the build image. The run order is 1 because this is run order within the actions. It's not across the entire pipeline, but within the actions here. So that makes sense. Action type build, use code build, use version 1, whatever that means. The input artifacts will be source because it is coming from the output artifact up here. So that's how it's going to get into the code build. We have our output artifact, which says it's called image definition. We don't really need an output on this. I don't think we do, but we do seem to be setting one here. Let me double check here. Maybe there's a reason why I set it there. Apparently, we have the image definition coming in from this one. I'm not 100% sure if we really want to even set that because in mine, I don't need an output artifact, but if it was passing the name, that makes sense, but I don't think that's what it's doing. So we'll go to the next step here, which is the deploy. Apparently I have the reference in there, so that's nice. Okay, I'll bring this down here. And also notice batching is enabled false. Batching can be very useful. I have had a couple use cases for that, but I can't think right now what it is. Let's go take a look and just see what link this goes to. Okay, it's just the action reference. Okay. Coming back over here, so this is doing deploy. Apparently I'm not attaching ECS deploy rule ARN, so maybe that is not necessary here, and the default is totally fine. Deploy ECS, AWS, straightforward. We have the input artifacts. Again, I don't think we need this, but I'm going to leave it in because I already have it, and so that might just be some useless extra thing that does nothing. Deployment timeout is 10. I'm assuming that, what is that, minutes or seconds? I'm not sure. And that's where it's kind of tricky to find out these things here. We'll go configuration parameters, deployment timeout. That's exactly what we're looking for. In minutes. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and just say in minutes. So it will time out after 10 minutes. 10 seconds seems a bit too short, so that makes sense to me there. We have the cluster name, the service name. Those do get exported out, at least they should. I'm not sure if we did that for our service. Let's go back and take a look at our service template. If we go down here, we don't have an output, I don't think. We don't. So that's something that we'll want to have as an output. So we'll say outputs here. And I mean, we'll just go get the one from the cluster. That's probably the easiest thing that we can do is go copy that one. So I'll go over to our cluster here. And we'll say service name, value, ref. I'm not sure what our service is called here. We'll just say export I'll just copy this line here. Copy, paste. Cluster name, this is service name. Okay, we'll go find what the service name is here. Up here we have the actual service here. So I'll click through to this. And in here we should be able to find the return values. It's probably over here. Yep, there we go. And I'm looking for just the name. So I can do get ATT names. That's what we'll have to do there. So we'll go back down to the bottom of this template. And this one will be get ATT.name. I already forgot what the service is called. It is called Fargate Service. Okay. I'll just go to the bottom here. Not sure why I'm scrolling like a maniac, but there we are. So that is that. We will have to update that so we can access that value there. Cluster name, stack name. So we do have both of those in there. So this one looks like it's in good shape. Let's go back over to the existing code that I have. So I did have this role here, but it seems like I'm not using it. So if I don't need it, let's just ignore it. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that out. This is the cluster, this is the service, this is CICD here. So I'm going to go up to wherever that was commented out. Here, because I don't think we need it. And let's go ahead and grab a role. We've done quite a few roles here, so again, we don't need to learn this stuff in detail, but we will look at its content. So I'll copy this whole thing here, and then we'll pare it down, take anything out that we don't need, because again, this is my code, so for a different use case, so that's why permissions might be different. Let's just see what makes sense here. So notification SNS policy. This is if you want to do a notification. Right now we're not doing that, so I'm going to take that out. Notice that we have code star in here. Yeah, I don't think I need this. I'm going to take this out here. Up here we have code pipeline build asset policy. See, now notice we have batching in here. We're not doing batching. So this one I was doing batching. And so that's why those additional permissions are in there. We do need to be able to have permissions to start, stop, retry builds. We don't need batch, start, build, batch, no, and no. So just code pipeline, build policy. I'll call that. Here you can see we have a nice join. We've done that a few times. And so here we're just reconstructing it. So we have AWS region, account ID, project, and then whatever this one is. If it's called the same here, then we'll be in good shape. This is still called that. It is. So that one is fine. Yep, so permissions for that resource here, start, stop, retry. Then up here, we have our code pipeline. Here it is a little bit open, but you know, it should be able to work with IAM roles, CloudFormation. We're not doing code deploy, so we can just take that out of there. That's probably just from an old one when I carried it over. I didn't remove those permissions. Then there is bucket access if we are placing things in an S3 artifact. We don't need that. I mean, the thing is that yeah, we don't need that because again, that's for something else. So we'll go ahead and remove that. We need to have access to CodeStar, so we have that. We need to work with task definition files, so that is correct as well. And so that looks a lot better to me. One thing I'm wondering here is in our build step, I want to see where it references the cross stack. Oh, it's here. So notice here we have the project name. It has code build bake image stack dot outputs. I just want to point this out is that when you have a cross stack, the way you access the data from it is you export it or you use it in the outputs, and then you can do this dot outputs thing to get it. So that is just something worth noting there, okay? Okay, so that looks good to me. Trying to think what else there is. Well, we gotta make sure this is configured correctly. We do need to have those parameters in there. This is CRUD. What CRD? Is that what we do, or is it CDR? That looks kind of backwards, eh? I don't know now. Let's go take a look at another one here. CRD. Oh, it's CRD. Okay, so that's fine. But yeah, the only thing we don't have here is the name of the service. So I'm going to go back up here, and we're going to redeploy the service. So we'll say CFN DB or service deploy. And that will roll that out there. So we can just give it a moment. Great. What I'll do is I'll go back over here into CloudFormation. CFN's probably the easiest thing to type. Even if you type it wrong, it still finds it, which is nice. And I'm going to go find the service. I wish it would indicate that there was like one waiting for an update here. I mean, if there is, I sure don't see it. Maybe there's an option here. No. You know, it always kind of like question, like, do the people at AWS know, like, use the product, or maybe they're just purely developers. They don't have any interest in UX. But anyway, this is our backend service. I'm going to go over here and go to the change set here, and we're just going to say execute change set. While that is going, what I want to do is get the stack name up here, because if we go over to our CICD here, wherever that is, yeah, we don't have defaults in here. So, I mean, we can just set them in here, I suppose. This is, oh, we're just doing our standard stuff here. This is TOML, not, this is CFN TOML, it's not SAM. So I'm just going to look at an example where we do set it. Yeah, it's parameters. I coded it, but I don't necessarily remember the configuration. And so we have a cluster stack, and we have a service stack. And so the service stack is going to be called this. And we'll just match that so it doesn't error out. And this one's going to be CRUD cluster. Okay. And so that's going to set that up there. So those two are set. Those already have defaults, but it's nice to bring them over here. I'm just going to bring them over so that when we want to change that, we can just copy paste that. And I'm going to say prod, and then I'm going to say AWS Bootcamp. CRUD 2023. All right. I'll be back in 1 second. All right, so I guess we're updating this to make sure that we have the change set going on here, and we'll see if our outputs have been updated. So now we have the service name. Obviously, the value is very simple, but again, we want to use crossstacks to bring in those values, and that's what I want to do there. So this is all set up. I guess what we need to do now is, let me think about it. I don't know. I guess we can just go ahead and deploy. After we do deploy, we do have to go into CodeStart and confirm our stuff. I don't think there's any way around that. You always have to go in and do that the first time. But let's go ahead and... Actually, I'm just trying to think here if I've ever done it another way, because you could just create the CodeStart connection and then reference it. And that could be less painful. But that's just like one of those weird components. And the reason why I say you might not want it in here is because sometimes the CodeStart connection needs to be recreated. And the issue with that is, I mean, the reason why is because of GitHub permissions. I found that like if you're constantly adding new projects, it doesn't take effect. And so you have to tear down and put it back up. So that might be a component that you might not want part of this CloudFormation. And instead you always reference the connection instead, but we put it in here. It's going to be up to you what you want to do, and you're going to learn through experience what actually works and what doesn't. So just because we did CloudFormation doesn't mean that's what works best in practice, and sometimes it takes some time to find that out. But let's go ahead and see if we can deploy this one here. So I'm going to go down to our bin directory. We're going to go into CFN because I'm just not sure what the state of this file is here. I think it's pretty straightforward though. We changed it over to CICD, CICD. The names look fine. I guess we'll go ahead and try and see it fail. I'm a bit of a pessimist, but we never get these things to work the first time around. It's not a big deal though. So go here and I'll just do bin CFN CICD deploy. We'll go ahead and attempt this here. And it says already an error. Let's see what it says. This code may only work with package CLI command as the property is a string on line or for template YAML line 22. Okay. Property connection name missing at the resource. So I guess it wants to have that connection name. So we did remove it because I thought it would just name it automatically. I guess it doesn't for that one. So we're going to go back over to that other repo I just had. Service CICD. Going to open up that CloudFormation again here. And yeah, so I guess we will have to specify the name. Not a big deal. We'll go back over here to our template. I'll paste that in there. Indent. So that will resolve one issue. Only one of artifact store or artifact stores should be specified. So that's line 31 in our template. Artifact stores. Did we have this in our other one? Let's take a look here. Oh, we do have that there. Do we have to have it specified? We do. So we do have to have a an artifact stores bucket. So I'm just trying to think here. Why do we need this? I mean, I'm assuming it's because any artifacts have to go into it. So I guess we will need a bucket. So that's why it'd be nice if we had our bootstrap, because then we would have that bucket. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and create that bucket manually. So we'll go over to S3. And I'm going to go ahead and create this bucket. So I'm just going to say code pipeline, creditor, artifacts. Of course, you'll have to name it uniquely. If you can't use the same name as me, these are like domain names. We'll go ahead and create that bucket. Now I have that bucket. I already forgot what I called it. So I can just scroll down and try to find it here. I'm going to go back here, and that's going to be artifact bucket name, type string, and I'm going to go over here, artifact bucket name equals this. Colon's not supposed to be there. And then I'm going to go back over here and bring this part in here, because apparently it needs it. And I believe that this was above here. Just going to double check. Yep. Here says import value, the location. Yeah, I don't know if it's just the name. I think it's just the name. So I'll just go ref artifact bucket name. And we'll just get rid of that. Okay, we'll hit up. See if it takes it this time. Says this code may only work with package CLI command as the property is a string. Yeah, I don't know why it's saying that. Maybe that's a superficial error. Let's go find out. Some resources supported by package return unexpected. They should instead return. This code may only work with this. Okay, well, let's go take a look. Maybe I do have a package command. I just don't remember. Can't remember everything, you know? We'll go here. Just says deploy. is there a package command in here? There is. So it looks like we have to package it first before we deploy it. I guess it's because of that nested stack. So that's not a big deal. So what I'll do is just bring this code over here. And we'll go back over to our bin. Again, since you're watching, you don't want to have to type that all out. You can just go into my commit history and go find it and try to get it from the code. That'll save you a lot more time, right? So we'll go to CICD. And we'll go ahead and paste that. All right, so just a moment here. Sorry, today I'm just getting a lot of interruptions there, so that's why I keep pausing here. People keep talking to me. Okay, so here we have the package. We're not using a profile, so we'll just take that out. That's the path to our template. This one's the CFN pipeline, so that's going to be the same place as this one. So I'm going to go ahead and just replace this here. Then we have CFN bucket. Yeah, I guess that would be our usual bucket here. So down below here, yeah, we have a prefix of, go here and say CICD. Oops. So this one's bucket, this one's CICD. Anyway, I at least think so, because one's being packaged, one's being deployed. So I don't know, maybe I should do package on this here. I'm not 100% sure. Output template file. So then it says output package template. So then the idea is we are going to compile out a package template. I kind of want this to go somewhere that is temporary because we don't want to keep it around. I'm going to go to our git ignore because we do have this .adbus directory for SAM. That's not exactly what I want. What we could do is make a new folder here called temp and just wildcard everything in it. And so I'll just make a new folder here, call it temp. It's basically our outputs folder. And so that way we can just output it there. We'll just go, whoops. We'll go here. I'm going to say package path, workspace, AWS Bootcamp, Crutter 2023, temp. And this will be packaged template YAML. Okay, package path. And so then what we can do here is just replace this one. And I imagine what we're going to do is we're going to reference one and the other, right? So go here. Yeah, that's what it's doing. Okay, so we'll go back over here. And instead of the CFN path, we're going to do the package path. I'm going to double quote this one. I mean, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but I don't know. I just try to make it as nice as I can here. We can also just put the region up here to be explicit. I'm sure that one has a region. I don't think package needs a stack name. Let's go double check. Doesn't have one. So let's go ahead and give this a go. This code only may work with a package CLI command as the property. Well, we did a package. Did it run that or what? I guess because it's linting first, it's complaining. Just hold on here. This is just a warning, so that doesn't necessarily mean it didn't run, but it did output there, and so that could be causing this not to work. So I'm going to go here and just do this, because warnings don't mean that it didn't work. It just means that it just stops it from proceeding forward, which is kind of an issue here. So here it says package CFN S3, so invalid template path CFN path. It's missing the $sign here. There we go. And so here it says successfully packaged artifacts and wrote them to this place. Let's go take a look at what it wrote out. To me, it looks identical. Oh, here's what it changed. So what it did was it uploaded that template and then it referenced it here. Okay. So if we go to CICD package, that's where we would see the template. Okay. So that's what it did. Uploading to CICD.template, an error occurred when calling create change set operation parameters, artifact bucket name, cluster name, service stack must have values. It's because we're not passing in the parameters. So what we'll do is go up to wherever we did that. I think we did it in the CFN DB because we do pass parameters here. So we're going to bring in the parameter overrides. I don't need this one here, so we'll just take that out. And we do need to call our parameters. So we'll go up here and just paste that there as such. And now we can hit up. I don't think package needs parameters. I think it's just the deploy. It looks like it's creating the change set. There we go. We're going to make our way back over here. Oh, I didn't mean to go to LinkedIn. Sorry. And I want to go to AWS. AWS, that's where I want to go. So we're going to make our way over to CloudFormation. All right, and so here it is in review. We're going to go take a look here at the change sets. We're going to click into here. Okay, some basic stuff. That's what we want. We're going to go ahead and hit execute change set. If it fails, we'll go fix it. I'm just going to wait here a little bit. I don't know if this is going to end up in like a state where it's like you have to wait till confirm something because we do that connection code star thing. So it did create that, but it's not confirmed yet. So we're going to wait till this is done. I'll be back here in a bit, okay? We have a rollback in progress. Let's go take a look at the events, see what the issue is. Version 2 in action is not available for in CA Central 1. Now, either it's just not available for CA Central or it's supposed to be version 1. So what I'm going to do is go back over there to our CICD here. We said we'd try version 2 if it was even possible. We'll go back and change that to 1. I still think that it's technically GitHub version 2, but even though it's version 1 for this thing here. So what I'll do is go ahead and delete the stack here. Go ahead and delete that. I'm going to go ahead and do CIC deploy. We're going to make our way back over here to CloudFormation, sorry. We'll go ahead and we'll try to deploy this again. Okay, so I'll see you back here in a moment if it fails or if it succeeds or if it's in a hanging state. All right, I'm back, and look, it is in a created complete state, so I'm very excited for that. I don't know if we had set any outputs. We don't really need any outputs. But basically, if that is successful, that we're in great shape, I'm going to go over to code pipeline because what I want to just take a look at is its configuration. But I believe it's set up correctly, so. And it's okay. Like it tried to run the first one and it failed. It can't pass because it doesn't have access or permission. So if we go down to connections, the first one will always fail because you have this in a pending state for the CI/CD connection. I do believe that there is a CLI command for this, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I wonder if I have it in here. In that, I keep having to re-pull it up because I keep closing it, but it'd be like user, where is it? Teacher seat, CI/CD. I'm just wondering if I already have the bash script, so save some time. No, I don't. We'll go over to AWS code star connection. CLI. And what I'm looking for is if there is like a confirm. I don't think so. I think you'd have to click through because if it's an application, I don't see how else it would ever work. So I do believe you'd have to always go through it. I just don't know why they run it on the first go. I never understood that. So we go here and we'll say update pending connection, and it's going to pop up. And that's the thing that we have to do is this stuff here. But we do have our other connections that we could connect, but we didn't do that. So I'll go down here and we'll just say the Exam Pro app, I suppose. Or actually, I'll do Omen King. It doesn't matter to me. Well, I guess it matters because it depends on which one has the permission. So I don't know. Install a new app. I don't know what to do here. So we'll go here and oh, you know what? It would have been on Omen King. That's what it would have been on. Oh, for frickin' frick. I gotta get my phone out for this. Let's try this again because there already is an existing app, and if I don't have to go and make a new app, I'd rather do that. I'll go here, and I believe it's Omen King because that's where the repo lives, right? And so hopefully that means we now have our connection. So I would say that we are done the CICD here for now, because obviously we're going to clean everything up and make sure things work. We still haven't done the front end service. It's a question of whether we want to do the Cognito and the other stuff there. I'm just kind of getting tired of all the IAC stuff, and we could be doing this forever. And my goal is that you have good CloudFormation skills, SAM skills, all these other things, and we have done a considerable amount there. So I don't know. I don't know if we need to do those other ones there. I could leave that as stretch homework if you want to do 100% IAC, but we've clearly done quite a bit at this point. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one, and I'm sure we're going to be focusing on trying to get things working. But yeah, we'll see you soon. Ciao.